Hello and welcome to Mind's Eye Visual Guitar Methods once again for our Start Here series, the third video in our Start Here series, now about notes that you'll need to follow along with our channel. In this version of notes, the first thing we want to know is the order of modes as they occur in the scale and the little notation that we'll be using to signify modes on our graph paper, so you'll always know what we're talking about or how to leave yourself a detailed diagram indicating what mode goes where. So starting with my drawing here, we have the word mood over mode because that's what modes are. This is why you would want to know modes, because they are expressive. They take a regular scale and give you a bunch of emotional expressions, which we'll go over the mood order of modes in the second or in the fourth video, the video after this one. So right now it's the scale order of modes. We first need to know how they lay out on the fretboard and the codes that we'll be using for them. So this is our mode scale order, and it's also the same as our fretboard order. So that means that if you were just thinking about going across playing a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do scale, the major scale, across the E string, starting on the G note here, for the G major scale, it would be Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian. Lydian is the half step away, just the same as the tone that's in the major scale. Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. And then the octave, which is right here. And I wrote octave right there because we're, as you can see here by the dots, we're back at the G note on the E string. So pretty easy, right? Copy that down if you want. Pause the video, copy it down. So what we got then is first to go over line by line here what I wrote down. Just basically illustrated that we're dealing with the 12 notes that exist in music in the Western scale system. So there's each represented by a box on the graph, so there's 1 through 12. Now you can see we can draw that into a handy dandy piano keyboard for an example of being able to reference a piano to see visually what we're talking about. You can see that a piano has 2 black keys, then 3 black keys, and it repeats. So here we have the 3 white notes, which are always C, D, and E, followed by the 4 white notes, which are always F, G, A, and B. Now, don't get confused for beginners. You can line this up with any note. It's not always on these. This is just an example so you can visualize the way a keyboard is set up, which helps you visualize. So what I have next is the phonetic way to get through a scale, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Forgive my monotone voice here. I'm not going to sing it out for you and get it all wrong, but let's hear it on a keyboard. That is from C to shining C. Okay, so there's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. There, are you happy I sang it? Now, the modes fall together like this. The do, the first note, is always I for Ionian. Now, I'm going to actually do something here that I didn't do before, but I'm going to write some numbers in here because I think that would help. But you'll notice that these numbers don't correspond with these numbers. Well, that's because these are the notes of the, you'll hear the, well, let's take it from the 2. Well, let's start our scale on the 4. So this will help you always know that the Ionian is from the do, it's the 1. The re, re, do, re, or re, is the 2, and the 3, and the 4, and the 5, and the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to C. Okay, so Ionian then is the first one. We wrote that down here, so you can write it down too, so you always have that in your notes. And that is the big deal here is that when we notate this on our fretboard, you're going to see it as an I in the box. So I stands for Ionian, D will stand for Dorian, P for Phrygian, L for Lydian, and keep that L in your mind, M for Mixolydian, A for Aeolian, and now we have the Locrian mode, which you'll notice starts with L. That can be a problem, but Locrian doesn't really get used as much as the other 6 scales. Number 7 here is kind of an oddball, and I put a question mark down there because it typically works as kind of a, people will call this an enigmatic mode. You've heard me describe this in other videos, and also it can build tension that will lead back to the Ionian mode. So, that being said, because it doesn't have the same more definitive emotional content as these other modes, we just keep that as a question, and that leads us to keep it as an L with a special little X right there. I put LX. So it's like the L mode that you don't really worry about too much in your beginning compositions with modes. You're probably not going to use Locrian too much till you get really good at this and start getting bored with everything, and then you want to really jazz things up. You might start exploring what you can do with Locrian. So that's later. So there it is in a nutshell. The order of modes and what you are looking at when I write down a letter name inside a box on the fretboard. And you're going to see soon how these all play out in a geometry on the fretboard that's super easy to know where any mode starts, anytime, anywhere. It's amazing how easy this is. So stay tuned for that. We're going to leave the video like this, so it's quick and easy at 7 minutes here. And you can copy this, pause the video, and copy this note down as it is, so you'll always know what we're talking about. Once again, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. Stay tuned for the next video where we go over the mode or mood order of modes. See you then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit the notifications button to get notified of when I make the next video and all my next videos. Have a great day. See you later.